This is Penny Keener, Stampin' Up! Independent Demonstrator and the original Keener inker. Today we're going to be making a card using the March paper pumpkin kit called No Matter the Weather. Here's the projects that come with it, but today we are only going to be using the stamps. So it has two different stamp sheets with some wording, clouds, hearts, flowers, and also a front door, flowers, rabbit, boots, and grass, and some more wording. We're also going to be using the Stitch So Sweetly dies from the January through June mini catalog, and the shapes that we're going to be using are these here. Colors, we're going to be using Basic Gray, Melon Mambo, Pear Pizzazz ink, also quite a few Stampin' Right markers. We're going to be using Going Gray, Blushing Bride, Coastal Cabana, Early Espresso, Mango Melody, and Melon Mambo. For cardstock, Basic Gray, Blushing Bride, Pear Pizzazz, and Whisper White. So in order to do this card, we are going to be using the Stamparatus, which is one of my favorite stamping tools. When I'm using photopolymer stamps, I like adding an extra mat. It just lifts up the card a little bit higher so you get a clear image, especially when you're using it in the corner. I'm going to add my magnet, which I have washi tape on. When you're using the Stamparatus, you can use a full-size pad, but I find you end up with ink all over it. So the Stampin' Spots that come in Paper Pumpkin is fantastic for this. You can also use our uninked ones with a re-inker and create your own. So the first thing I'm going to do is, in my Going Gray, I'm going to stamp my rabbit. Now I want to mask him so I can stamp behind him as well. And so what I'm doing is taking just a little post-it note. I'm going to place it over the rabbit and then stamp my bunny again. And then I'm going to cut this rabbit out. So I'm going to use my paper snips. Normally, if I'm cutting out a project that I'm going to be adding to something, I usually cut outside the lines and even give it a little bit of white space. But when you're masking, you're actually going to do the opposite. So I'm cutting inside the line, so I'm cutting the lines off. And for this particular one, I don't need the entire rabbit cut out, just kind of his front portion. Now, by not cutting inside the line, what happens is when I stamp over him, my project's going to go right up to him. If I were to stamp, or if I were to cut out around the outside edge, I'd end up with a white gap. So you can actually see the black outline there. So next I'm going to stamp my boots. Again, same color in the Basic Gray. And I have taken the time to line this up prior to this video, so everything is going to line up. Otherwise, it takes a little bit of adjusting, but once you have it done, you can make so many cards and they'll be perfect every single time. I got my flowers and my boots. And then, and that was the Melon Mambo for that color. And then this is Pear Pizzazz for the grass. So now I have my piece. It is stamped perfectly. And when I go to peel off my mask, I have a beautiful white bunny on top of my boots. So next I'm going to do some coloring using my markers, doing Early Espresso in the bunny eye just so it doesn't look blank or evil. I'm also going to color the bottom of my boots so they have some sole. And then on the rabbit, a little more. This is Blushing Bride as well. And color the inside of the ear. And then the grass, I could leave it as is because it looks like it's flowering grass, but I want to add a little more color. So I'm taking my marker and instead of coloring solid, I'm kind of doing some dots. And there's, in the middle of this grass, you can also do some dots, even though there's not the green dots. Around it, you can add some more. This card just makes me so happy because of the colors. I'm excited about spring coming. All right, and my last color. Let's see, maybe A little more right there, and then maybe one right here as well. Okay, next I'm going to layer this onto my going gray, which is 3.5 by 4 5/8. Flip that over, and I'm using snail to attach this. Just center that right on in there. And then for my card, I'm using Pear Pizzazz. I've already scored this. I do like using my bone folder to give it a nice crease. To lift this up just a little, I am going to go ahead and do dimensionals on the back of my raised piece here. And put that down on the center of my card. If you ever have problems getting the dimensionals off, you can always use your thumbnail to kind of push it down, and it just makes the edges pucker up. Also going to add some wording for this. I really like the "no matter the weather, we're in this together." It seems very applicable for right now, as we're all stuck at home. So it's nice to have happy projects like this. I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this as well. And then just to balance the card out, I'm going to do this cat corner from my rabbit. To finish off this card, I'm actually using the clear faceted gems, and I'm using the medium size. I'm going to put him as my bunny tail, so you have a little bit of a glitter. I've also made this card into an Easter blessings card, and so of course I have to ask, what is the Easter Bunny's favorite kind of music? Hip hop, of course. So no matter the weather, we're in this together. I think it's a great card to give to somebody right now. Bright colors. Please check out my website and subscribe to my channel for quick videos on how you can be a keener inker too.